Hey, everybody. Welcome to Real Crusades History. Once again, we are live streaming about our upcoming TV show, Knights of the Cross, a show about the Crusades for ChristianChannel.com. So I'm J. Stephen Roberts. I am here with three of our awesome guys from our stunt group. These three guys are some of the guys who made possible the military stunts, the military history that we are including in this TV show. So we have back with us Spencer and Kyle. What's up, guys? Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, glad to be back.
All right. And also just to introduce first time streaming with us, Mike is here. So how's it going, Mike?
It's going really well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Glad to have you here. So Mike, he did some stunts as Richard the Lionheart. Is it okay if I say that, guys?
Yeah. Yes.
I guess.
I told it. Doug said that he was going to say he did all the stunts anyway, but that's okay.
Right.
Yeah. Bug definitely did some of them too. We had kind of a combination of stunt guys or actor plus stunt guy. But yeah, Mike, I have to say, remembering some of the filming, some of your stunts, like the little combat with you, and I think was it Saracen 2 or 3 or 4? Or
A number of them, yeah. There was at least one with a couple of them at a time. And
wait, no, there wasn't a Saracen 4. There was Saracen Leader, Saracen 1, Saracen 2, Saracen 3.
Yep.
This must have been Saracen 2 or 3 because Spencer was Saracen 1. So
But then I doubled sometimes when he threw me down the hill. I think the part, not spoilers, but there's a cool part where William Rain is running up and he stabs me and then throws me down the hill. And they're like, do that again. Do that again. I was like,
yeah.
As many times as it takes.
As many times as it takes. I will run up a hill all day long to throw you down it.
yeah, and you guys ran up many hills that day and threw many people down, and it was pretty epic. Pretty epic to watch the
that was the day we did like the long shot where we had to like scramble me and the other Templar guys and like climb up a cliff and run over so we could do the camera angle to see Spencer get thrown down and then pan over, and like we have to be fighting in a new location. You know, we only have so many stunt guys. Yeah, there was hills.
Yeah, definitely some athleticism going on there with you guys. So very good work. So now that we got Mike with us for the first time, just kind of like we did with Kyle and Spencer last time, Mike, do you want to kind of tell us a little bit about your background, your interest in military or historical martial arts, that kind of thing?
Sure. Well, I had been interested in martial arts in general since I was a tiny little kid. I didn't come into the historical, armored combat until I met Kyle. And he and I, what was it, 2004 we started, I think.
I started in 2003. You started in 2004.
Okay. Well, there you go. So he's got at least a year on me.
It was like 3 months though.
Started off just from purely for me anyway, love of combat sports. And we found this armored combat sport where, cause I'd done like Hapkido and stuff before, but it's all very partner drills and whatnot. Here was a place where we could put on real medieval armor and go full out and actually do the moves. And that really drew me to it at first. And then learning all the really, really cool history that came with it was just like an added bonus. And I've been hooked ever since. And the Crusades are like my time period. I love it. So
awesome.
A lot of fun.
So this is a good project for you then.
Oh my God, Joe. Oh my God. It's the perfect. Hey, that's me.
Cool. Yeah, I wanted to show this photo real quick. So this is you in this particular photo, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So yeah, basically what we had going on was this is our Richard the Lionheart gear for the trailer we just filmed recently. And Bug Hall played Richard, like did the speaking parts, that kind of thing. And Mike was stunt doubling. So we got some photos of both of them. This is Mike in the full Richard the Lionheart gear. Really looked great. It looked amazing in person, and it turned out well. And even just some of these, photos people were snapping on their cell phones and whatnot. So well done, Mike.
Thank you. I mean, the armor felt amazing. It helped a lot with, the posture and everything. It was fantastic. So
where did I remember when we were getting some of the gear for the Richard armor, it was kind of a cool thing. Kyle was saying, hey, look at this awesome kind of gold textured armor we got. Where did a lot of this come from? Like the helmet is very cool.
Yeah. So do you mean historically, where did it come from, or where did we get it?
Well, how about both? Let's do both of those. And whoever wants to shout out on that.
So where we actually got it is I've been training with a jousting company here in Michigan, and the owner of that, which is the Monarch family, who Aiden, one of our stunt people, he's the 18-year-old that you will see in the trailer. It's his family, and they have all kinds of jousting stuff, all kinds of equipment. And when I was talking to him about it, they were like, yeah, here, this chainmail is much more regal than the chainmail that you can provide. Use this. And they were just so generous because they're into the project and they wanted it to look cool. And so, yeah, they furnished a large portion of the Richard outfit and some of the other main character outfits, including Baldwin.
Awesome. Somebody pointed out on one of the videos that the helmet we've got here, it's inspired by something from the Morgan Bible, if I'm correct, or if that comment was correct.
Yep, that's correct. Which is about 1250 is when the Morgan Bible or Masejowski Bible, whichever you want to call it, is from, which is 50 years after our time period, but it's very close. It's very similar to the pictures they have in the artwork, and it's so cool that we were like, why not?
Awesome. So I think most everybody in the chat today probably already knows about what we're talking about, but I just want to make sure that we talk about this here at the beginning. Knights of the Cross is an original historical TV show about the Crusades that we are producing, and that is this stunt team plus me and some other people for ChristianChannel.com. I'm going to post a link here in the chat for you guys to check out. This is our crowdfunding page. If you guys just go over to ChristianChannel.com/Knights of the Cross, this is where we're making everything happen, and this kind of gives you a full lowdown on everything we're working on right now. So one thing I want to say is I've been really impressed with everybody, just the generosity and the enthusiasm that people have had for the project. We've got a lot of people who are already helping support the project quite a bit, and I want to just thank everybody who has already supported. And right here I'm sharing the page. You guys can see kind of what it looks like. This just gives you all the information about what we're working on. There are a variety of ways to support the project, as you can see here, and all these different tiers that you can donate at come with different rewards, all the way up to actually being in the show yourself, fully outfitted with historical costume. So quite a few cool options. So just want to leave that there for everybody. Okay. So some good news too for you guys. I did talk to Eric, who is editing our trailer for us right now, and he said he should have something to show us pretty soon. So
nice. More breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
He actually messaged me about that the other day, and he's like, hey, I need a voice recording of you saying like different lines so we can, see which one fits. And I'm like, okay, what would it be in? And he sent me this 5-second clip, and the whole time I'm like, oh yeah, it's coming together.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Spencer, you've got to do your now famous line.
Oh my!
Yes.
One thing. So there's a great part that you guys will love, and our friend, the Saracen leader. Yes, they're like, Saracen leader, get him. He does a signal, and then I'm like, sir, we should take her to the Sultan. And everyone's like, whoa, he can act or he can speak. I'm like, I like acting, but it's fun. Thanks, bud.
Yeah, actually,
the whole. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, in that moment when you said that line, I was like, "Oh, I wish we had more lines for."
That's all right. With more funding, we can get more lines. I'd gladly say anything you want.
That deep, booming voice.
Yeah, everyone, like, I'm standing there behind, and they're like, "Okay, Spencer's going to deliver this line, no big deal." And I'm like, "Spencer, he's a good actor, guys." And they're like, "Okay, cool." And then Spencer like drops that low level line, and it's like deep, and everyone goes, like, there was silence behind the scene, because they're filming it. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, he's awesome."
It just kind of transported you to, the almost like here we are in a medieval raid here going on. I mean, because Spencer in person, you're like a very like chill, kind of like, gentle type person. But in that moment, you were like this, like,
method act. Like, you gotta be slayer of men. You're like, we're taking her. Well, not to give spoilers to what you guys are gonna love when you actually get to see this. But it was a lot of fun to actually think about that. And as we're sitting on these horses, I'm just thinking about, how do I want to deliver this? What will people enjoy? But yeah, it was fun.
Awesome. Actually, I'm going to see if I can find a still from that scene. Why don't you guys entertain the crowd for a minute while I...
Sure.
So I saw some of the questions are asking, like, what kind of medieval combat? So we've got a lot of stuff all over the board. We're all SCA knights, including some of the other guys on our stunt team, or have SCA experience. We've all done HEMA, and we've done bow practice a little bit. And Spencer is actually going to is it the Nationals coming up?
Yeah. I fought on some level of the Battle of the Nations teams whenever they came to Springfield, Illinois. So I got to fight the Ukrainians, the Belarus, the Russians. Granted, it was their C team, and they still destroy us. But yeah, I know a lot of stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to throw this out there to everybody, questions. We do want to do questions today. So if you've got questions for our stunt guys here, please feel free to throw them our way. And I actually didn't see any. If one of you guys have maybe like a clip or like a still from that scene, that would be really cool. But I am going to show. This is just kind of fun. Just a little memory from our time filming. This is us having lunch.
Oh yeah.
So this was a really good Mexican restaurant. I can't remember which one where it was. This was when we were on the way to the Imperial Dunes, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was right outside of our Dunes shot location, and this was like the only meal we got until 10 p.m.
Yeah.
We drove 3 or 4 hours, had lunch, and then didn't eat until after dark, which is like 1 p.m. for those of us from Indiana. So
the time travel was crazy.
Okay, yeah, I just found here's a still from that I was looking for. Let's see here. This is the still I'm looking for.
Because I know there's one from the trailer too that we had in the part.
This is kind of, this gives a little bit of an idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got some Saracens. We've got our Countess character, and you can just kind of see the crew working together there. Kind of a cool thing.
If I'm not mistaken, so Bug is Richard here. I think I'm one of the Saracens on the horses in the background there.
Yep, you're the one right behind him over Angelo's head.
Had to wrap my face up real tight and everything else, but it was awesome.
Yeah, let's see here.
No, that was a really cool scene, and as everyone can look at the whole area that we have on the rocks, and there's a little riverbed that you can't see far to our left, and I'm in the far left corner when I'll right up after our Saracen leader on the right says come and get her. So it's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, I liked this one too because there's action shots that lead up to it, and they matched Angelo's storyboards, and they were so cool. Like seeing the storyboards, and then like, okay, we're gonna pull this off by driving a Jeep and having the horse chase it. It was awesome. And then, we had to put all these horses in place. Pretty interesting.
Man, I'm just thinking of of another scene. Close. It was the same day, close to this. I don't know how much. I don't want to spoil anything, but it was just a really cool horse.
Don't give plot away. Just give action.
Yeah. What did you actually do?
A couple of Saracens chasing the Countess, and then we circle her with one coming down a hill and right behind her. And I think we did it 2, maybe 3 times. And I remember one of those times, we're acting all menacing, and I just look kind of out, and I see Angelo behind the camera, behind the monitor, and he's literally dancing with joy. And I thought, yes.
He was so excited. It was so much fun working with him, man.
Yeah.
No, that whole sequence of you guys coming through this canyon and then circling the Countess was epic. And it was one thing to watch you guys filming it, but then when I was looking at the feed, I was like, whoa, that's very cool. Amazing work.
And it was really cool to see your visions come together. Of course, we have Angelo, who's thinking all these storyboards, and we saw picture by picture what he wanted to happen. Then we made it happen. Then we could only imagine what you had in mind, Joe, when you're like, I want this to happen. It was really cool to see all the pieces come together. And I think the viewers will enjoy it. Yeah,
it was amazingly, on point for what I was thinking when I was writing it. I mean, the cool thing about this trailer was we did really set out to do something that was within the scope of our current resources, because obviously, when we were talking about, okay, we need to make a trailer, we were saying, all right, we got to do something that we can do though right now. Right now, we don't have a huge budget. We're trying to get a bigger budget through making something cool. So let's take elements that we can do. We can do a battle scene kind of in a remote area. We can do a campsite. We can kind of put some of those elements together. And it really was just really cool. Bringing that to life.
Yeah.
So we got some questions coming in here.
Well, that's a good one. That's what I was just looking at.
Yeah, this is from Declan Krebs, a good friend of the channel. What can you tell us about what the trailer will depict? Is it a broad intro to the series or a standalone event? I actually would like to hear you guys answer that. Just because I've blabbed about it so much already.
That's all right. Kyle,
yeah.
I'll start.
Yeah, I will. It's kind of its own standalone event. Whether we use that as part of the intro to the series isn't fully fleshed out yet. But we wanted this thing to sit on its own, to be it's kind of a trailer, but it's also a little bit of a short film, and have elements of both. And just to tell kind of a short taste of what the team can do, what the storytelling can do, what it would look like if we had full episodes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And go, Mike.
No, I was just gonna say, if it's got a discernible beginning, middle, end. It's a short film. It is its own thing, but it is, like Kyle was saying, I think just something that, hey, this is what we can do. Get excited because we can do so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And if I may, it's kind of like a teaser for everyone to see, hey, this is what we have on the budget we are using, but we can do so much more. So it's like a little taster plate. We're like, we'd like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We can do more, but you're also going to see what we're capable of. So, yeah.
No, you're really good about kind of the reminding people of that, Spencer, and I appreciate that. I'm going to just plug again here the fact that I'm actually kind of not so good at this, but I need to be better.
You're doing fine. You're doing good. Bud.
No, I mean plugging stuff. I'm not so good at the plugging of things, but I'm going to do that right now. ChristianChannel.com/Knights of the Cross. You guys will go there and check out what we're doing. We do need your help to make this show happen, so support us there. And thanks for everybody who's doing that. So there we go. All right, and getting back to, let's see here. I saw another really good question, or kind of a comment here. This is from Christian. Can't wait to see the Battle of Jaffa on screen and hear Richard shout, "By God's calves, Saladin will never take the Christians." Yeah. We're making this whole thing to lead so we can do that scene.
Jaffa would be so good.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Jaffa would be amazing.
There's a question by Daniel, Joe. I don't know if you can bring that up. It's right before the Christian one.
Is this our Daniel who was helping us. No,
I don't know his last name. I'm not sure.
This is a
It's
different.
by A. Daniel.
Yeah.
All right. How did you research and portray the Saracen style of fighting? How is it different from the more European styles?
So this one's a fun one since recently I've been inducted into the Historical African Martial Arts Association. And it's this group that's nationwide. They're working on being international, but they do all different kind of African styles from the Mamluks to all parts of Yemen and you get in the Horn of Africa. And as we know, Africa's a giant continent. So there's so many different things of fighting. Being that I've done a little bit of HEMA as well, and now I'm doing more HEMA instruction, we did a little bit more research into what maybe with the Saracens would have did, with what weapons we had, and also a little bit of theatrics. We were trying to showcase some cool styles. Like for me, I had a giant mace, which is a giant mass weapon, which if we got a little more budget, which we're working on, we were going to destroy some pots, destroy some other things, where Kyle, Baldwin's character is like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get hit by that. So to answer your question, a lot of the fighting is the same because the body can only move so many different ways. But you kind of add in the style of movement since they would have more chain and the Saracens were wearing cloth. So I can be more fluid and do these things, even though they're more armored. But they're pretty close. I mean, Kyle, Mike, you guys could talk more about the European styles.
Well, yeah, you said it great, dude. There's differences in the armor that'll dictate, what you can do. And then the other element isn't just the two styles of which, we have experience with. It's telling the story. Like Spencer's character is a big guy with a big two-handed mace. Like he needs to portray scary, whether we take from European or African styles doesn't matter as long as it portrays that. But we tend to lean towards that. Same with Doug's character. Doug, the Saracen leader, we wanted him to be, the word I used was snake-like. That he should be menacing and scary like a snake. And so his moves kind of include that, and elements of Muay Thai elbows are in his fighting. We just want him to demonstrate he is a scary bad guy.
Yeah, I think that's one of the really interesting things about the Crusades is this encounter between these Islamic versus Latin Christian fighting styles, which they were. In some ways they were similar, in some ways they were different. The Arabs kind of had a more similar fighting style to the Western Christians than the Turks did, we might say. Mm-hmm. A lot of the Arabs, the Moorish groups, they were fighting with lances, cavalry lance type fighting styles. I think the Fatimids, for example, one of the major opponents of the Crusaders, they had mainly infantry archers and infantry lancers, more of an infantry-based armies than the more cavalry-based Turkish type armies. So yeah, that's something that we will definitely continue to explore with the series, is kind of highlighting some of those differences and trying to get at the authentic historical reality of how these different groups fought. So some other good questions coming up here. This is a comment from Mark. Team looks really great and energetic. I truly hope you can get the budget you need to bring it all alive. Well, thank you so much, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you very much. We do too.
Somebody had a good comment on that. Resident Carolean said maybe a few of us could do a comment campaign across BoardTube here. Yes, this is a good point. You guys can really help us out, not just by directly contributing yourselves, but spreading the word about what we're doing. I mean, take our crowdfunding page, post it various places, share these streams we're doing, share the behind the scenes to the trailer. And of course, once the trailer itself comes out, that'll be a big event. You can share that. So absolutely, that would be much appreciated, guys.
And we do have some talks with Schologrim, one of the biggest sword, you think about Schologrim, Metatron, Shadiversity. I was talking back and forth with Schologrim about getting him a Shotel, which is an African style sickle sword, and then also being by the way, we're doing this Knights of the Cross thing if you want to talk about some more. But we haven't had a chance to get back from him yet. But no, SwordTube is big. So the more we can talk about it, get people on it, that's better.
Awesome. All right. So this is something else I wanted to address too. Somebody was talking about the colorful armor in daylight. And there was somebody else who brought up the issue of the colors look too bright or something. And, this is a common misconception that comes to us from a lot of TV shows and movies that present the Middle Ages as kind of this drab, brownish type environment, like all the clothes were, like gray or brown or something. That's not the way it was at all, you guys. I mean, the reality is that whether we're talking about Latin Christians or Saracens, I mean, bright colors were the thing. I mean, wouldn't you agree, guys?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And especially when you get to Richard being a king. Now, it's granted, it depends how long he was during the Crusade, and reds are something you can get most of the time. They fade in time. That's why you see pinks or period colors. But if it was early in the campaign, especially being rich in his coffers, they could be as red as they want. They could be bright. The Saracens actually have brilliant blues and all those other things.
We toned the Saracen color palette down. We had to be like, no, there's more colors. We need to tone it down for the show. And you can see in this picture how colorful it still is.
Yeah, because we're also trying to paint a narrative. And that's the part where in historical accuracy, which these still were all period things that people would have had or could have had. But since we're telling a story, we want to kind of make like, not necessarily a red versus blue thing, but you want to be able to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to tell a story, you definitely need to be able to differentiate your... And that was true in the medieval ages too, opposing armies. The whole point of heraldry is being able to tell who's who in the midst of a big melee battle. So bright colors were definitely helpful with that.
You don't get like the mini map in a video game telling you who the good guys are.
No.
They did not have that technology yet.
No, they did not.
Yeah, a couple people are commenting on this. The Middle Ages were colorful.
Mm-hmm. Very much so, right?
This is an interesting comment. So people think historical facts are unrealistic, just like the Tiffany problem, where nobody believes Tiffany was a 12th century name.
Oh, no, I've heard of that one, yeah. And everybody thinks that the armor is ludicrously heavy and you can't move in it, but it's really not. And it doesn't make sense that it would be. If it's something you've got to wear in battle, you don't want something that's going to weigh you down and hinder your movement. So, yeah, it's and the other thing is that the armor was tailored for the person wearing it, which really helps offset any kind of weight that it does have.
Yeah, I noticed that myself when I was an extra, and I did put on some armor and do some background acting for the trailer. And yeah, it was, you could feel the weight of it, but it was evenly distributed. And after a little while of walking around in it, you get used to it. So cool. What other questions we got here?
And that's also the common misconceptions you get in Hollywood these days sometimes, where when we were doing a lot of this choreography, Kyle and I were looking at, we're like, all right, how do we make these prop weapons? How do we do these whole things? Of course, we want to fight with real steel, which almost all of our props are steel. However, in Hollywood, they talk about not wanting to do that because you could get your people hurt. But a lot of us have dealt with steel weapons for quite a while now. So you take your time. We still make the shots look good, camera angles. But the weapons aren't as heavy as they make them seem.
Oh, no. I mean, the average arming sword, well, actually, I've got my Templar cavalry sword here.
Mm-hmm. And
this bad boy weighs at most 1.5 pounds. I like that pick, Spence.
It's a good pick. But no, those army swords, and it looks thick and big, but it's light. This is a picture when I was working on the maces that we had. I was doing a whole lot of foam work, and I was like, my friend was like, wear this respirator, and we're putting it up on Instagram, and my friend's like, I can't tell, make big eye expressions. So I'm like, does this work? And it's a goofy one.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, Spencer was committed to the project. He was helping with props. He was helping set up the Saracen tent. He was in there taking care of it.
We got to make it look good. And that one started, so we just had a wooden dowel rod like a bit. So this is a flange base, but we also have the real one we had. This one's a Battle of the Nations style, but it's close enough to what would have been around some of the earlier time period, even though we have another mace later that I can show you. But we wanted this one, even though we're comfortable fighting with this, there's some shots we have that we don't want to actually brain somebody because this will destroy something. I have some videos later where we'll smash some pineapples and we can put that on the channel, or Joe can put them up where you actually see the destructive force of this. But this is what that one in the picture actually came like. And it looks good enough from far away, and it doesn't hurt yourself.
Yeah, which is where we used it for the real one that we used for like the close-up shots, where we were like, okay, we need this to be the super close-up, extreme close-up of it hitting a shield. We used that one, and we was really controlled, and we were careful about it. And then we're like, okay, those guys 20 feet away from the camera are going to be beating each other up. Use the prop face.
And then the other last style, this one's also, that's where we get into historical accuracy. This is completely historical. Other one's a little bit, it's still historical, but it would have been a little bit more beat up, not as shiny per se. But this, mass-wise on a TV, it doesn't look as menacing, even though we know, and we'll show some pictures of this will destroy so many things. But we want to go for a little bit of flash. But this is another really cool mace, or a footman's mace.
Yeah, and that one you just had there, that's the historically more what the maces would look like, was more of this head for the time period that we're in. But it's not as cool looking from 10 feet back, whereas the other flange maces have still maintained, like, you can tell what that is from the distance.
And they would have been centered a little bit more around here, but once again, we get time where our props, time, and money, we're like, what can we get close enough that doesn't make us like go ahead 10 centuries or whatever part, but this will actually be close to where a 6th thorn, and the 6th thorn is more accurate than a 5 thorn mace. So there's so many things to look at.
Yeah, we get into it.
You get us talking about weapons, man. And
all day.
I did see a neat comment in there though from I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. Starts with a J though. He's talking about Hollywood tropes. Hopefully, yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
And without spoiling anything, yes, there's shield work in this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definite shield work.
All of us have experience, with competitive medieval combat, and the sword and shield. It's the bread and butter. The reason you saw it everywhere is because it was used so often. Like Mike, I know that's your favorite style in general.
Absolutely, sword and shield all day long, man.
So, Mike, your favorite period is like 12th century Crusader period. That's
era.
Yeah.
Okay. You said it before, but this project, it's like the culmination of literally everything I love coming together.
Same here.
I've been acting since I was a kid. Not in anything real big, but the opportunity to work on a real set, and I got doing the stunts. I've wanted to be a stunt guy forever. And then not only is it a medieval period piece, but it's exactly in the period that I am the most interested in. And it's a dream. It's an absolute dream.
Cool. So out of the Crusades period, like what's some of your favorite stuff from that period? I mean, it's obviously it's a pretty big period we're talking about.
It's a very big period. But I mean, people. So, Kingdom of Heaven has its problems for sure. But then those characters, they were real, and if you go and you actually read about them, they're honestly so much cooler than what they were portrayed as in that film. So I love that time period. I love the Kingdom of Jerusalem period of time where we were holding it, but it was like, well, how long was it? Like almost
well, they lost Jerusalem itself in 1187.
Yeah,
got it back again briefly, but the actual presence in Palestine was about 2 centuries. Like it was finally all destroyed in 1291. So from roughly 1098, 1099 to 1291. So,
and then of course, like a little bit, William Marshall's my favorite knight in history. I just love that guy. And he was on Crusade. He came back and built a church or two, I think. But
he actually went right before the period we're doing. He went like in the mid 1180s.
Yeah.
So Christian says, will Richard use an axe in the show? Yes, definitely.
Oh, he's totally an axe man.
Axe.
Asking people questions, and yes.
And this is a good question up here too from Daniel Weiss. How much CGI would be involved? Would there be CGI camps, armies, cities, etc.? The answer to that is yeah. There's going to be digital animation. We got some people on the team who are good at that. How much we use that versus sets and live action is going to kind of depend on stuff like budget, what we think looks the best. But yeah, I mean, that will be a part of what we're doing. In fact, there's going to be some of that on the trailer. There's going to be some digital manipulation of the visuals in the trailer itself. So yeah, that'll be part of it too. And probably, yeah, like you're saying, Daniel, a big part of that will be, as in any medieval movie, increasing the size of armies through digital animation, creating backdrops. Like one thing, we were talking about Kingdom of Heaven, that scene where they have that little conflict in front of the castle of Karak. Karak was actually done digitally. It wasn't actually, they weren't using an actual set of a castle in the background there. I mean, there was parts where, when they were actually filming stuff, it looked like it was on the castle, but the actual scene where you see the castle, that was digital. So
that castle's so cool though. Like the history of that castle is like the coolest castle in the Middle East, in my opinion.
Coolest castle of castle. Yeah.
Have you guys been?
No, never. I've never been there. The only castles I've seen in real life have been in Poland.
And I got to see some in Germany while stationed there. Went to Heidelberg Castle. That was really nice. And
in Germany, I forgot about Germany.
I saw some in Germany, and I saw one in Turkey, but it was more of it was an old Crusader castle, but it was kind of in ruins. Got to climb around on it when I was 15.
Yeah, I've seen some good ones in Turkey also. There's some good Byzantine forts and stuff like that there.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple other good questions up here.
I think the CGI thing's also going to depend a lot on budget, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Digital animation is expensive. Fortunately, we do have people involved who are passionate and willing to work for cheap, like everybody is on this thing. But yeah, I mean, there's, inevitably that's going to be a part of the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's CGI.
I was just thinking, the more we can raise, the more we can do. So
true, and that's why hopefully when you guys see this one, we did it on, I don't want to say shoestring, but. We were creative. We were
maybe
creative.
2 shoestrings.
Yeah,
maybe 2.
Maybe.
Yeah. In fact, since we're talking about it, let's just go ahead and play the behind the scenes. This is not the actual trailer, but this is
it's like a sneak peek of a sneak peek, right?
Yeah.
The 3 of us watched it last time. Now you're here, Mike, so we'll watch it with you too.
Yeah. Never gets old.
I think I'm in it a couple of times.
You are. Okay, here we go.
Oh, hey, that's my tent.
Is that your tent?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just full screen it. There we go. Oops.
Oh, that desert.
Every time I see that, the thing that pops out to me is TJ getting thrown from the horse. Every time I'm like, oh man, she did that fake like 4 times. And every time
so many.
5 was 5. And she looks so good. And then they're like, TJ, maybe you could do it again. She's like, oh, I'm doing it again.
And she kept on me, she's like, throw me harder down on the ground. I'm like, no, TJ. I'm like, because you gotta act. I'm like, oh, throw her. And then like, she's like, no, she's like, drop me. I know. I was like, no.
Wait, you want me to throw her down harder?
Yeah. She's like, I can take it. She's like, that's. And then she was like, you feel like a girl. And I was like, I take that compliment. I know a lot of strong girls. Thank you.
But I'm going to throw you really hard now. And the one that we got, it's like a low angle shot, and she just like, she really gets thrown off that horse. She insisted on it being like, Spencer, really throw me down.
I know. I'm going to get that part. I'm like, I was being as nice as I could. I did not do this. Was not having any joy in this. Like a little disclaimer. Like,
and she was goading you into it too, just to show everybody who we're talking about here. This is Jack slash TJ.
Yeah,
She was our stunt woman, horse coordinator, actress. She would switch from being kind of like a tough Marine girl to a dainty countess when the camera would start rolling.
Yeah, but as soon as they said cut, there was no dainty countess.
Right, yeah, that went away.
Acting.
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
She was a very convincing actress. I was impressed. I know Bug was like, she's phenomenal, and she did a great job.
And horse wrangling, like a lot of the stunts one, there were so many times I was like, I mean, Mike's the best rider out of us here, but I'm maybe more of a 4 or a 3. And I did like the first day of riding. After that, I was like, no, I'm good. We'll let the other guys do some more.
Yeah, Mike rode every day, I think.
Every day.
Like, all right, you're done with whatever we had you do. Get back on the horse. Put
a different costume on.
Okay. We need to take your pants, and now you're on the horse.
Yeah. So, like in the top frame here, this was one of the coolest shots that I got to be a part of, and that's when we were chasing the Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
In that top picture. That was awesome.
Yeah, that top picture was actually filmed from the back of a moving vehicle, if I'm correct, right?
And we're riding full out, chasing that Jeep, and it was so cool. So yeah, I got to be one of the Countess's escorts, and then they would throw me in Saracen garb, and suddenly I was a guy chasing the Countess. It was fantastic, and TJ was so great because I mean all the horses were hers, and she was so great to work with. And I remember asking her at the end of the shoot, the very end of the shoot, you know, what did you think? How'd I do? And she kind of gave me a rating.
Was it a good rating or a bad rating?
I thought it was awesome.
You know, it's honest coming from her.
Yeah,
I was like, good because it's real and like.
Yeah. Well, she said your form probably about a 6 out of 10, riding about an 8, bravery solid 10.
Right.
Like I'll take it.
That's a Russian judge score. That's pretty good though. I mean, coming from her, that's solid.
Yeah, there were stunts where like, I think this one's too dangerous. And she's just like, no, I'm gonna do it. Like, don't tell me no, I'll tell you if it's too dangerous. And like the only ones we had to pull back from were like endangering, you know, if it could endanger the animal or the person. But like if she was the rider, there was nothing she wasn't gonna try.
No, you guys are gonna love it. Everything you see happen. It's not. No, there was CGI. There was not the big giant scream like we were riding a green horse and then we just put it in there. They were all real horses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the horses kind of had a temperament like a medieval horse.
Man.
These were arrogant. They were.
There was a mix. There were some Arabians.
Thoroughbred.
My horse Roxy was an Arabian, I want to say Arabian quarter horse mix. So she was Arabian but taller than all of the other ones.
And I don't know what Manhattan was, but he was a good boy. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
Cool.
So super chat here from Robert Roberts. Thank you for that, Robert. And FYI, any super chats in these streams we do, they do go toward our budget. So thanks for that, Robert. How many Teutonic Knights are depicted battling in the Holy Land versus French Templars? Teutonic Knights were more of a minor player in the Holy Land theater. They were more involved in the Northern Crusades, like the Baltic Crusades. Would you guys agree with that?
Definitely.
Yes.
When just where they recruit from was mostly like the Germanic states, and those guys didn't even get there till later in the Third Crusade, you know?
Yeah, and the order itself was founded during the Third Crusade, which is kind of interesting. There was a little German hospital in the camp at the Siege of Acre, and that it was founded as a medical order at first, and they were taken care of probably because there was like there were probably fewer German speaking Crusaders there than French. There was a hospital set up to take care of the wounded Germans, sick Germans, and that became the order of I forget the full name of it. It's not Teutonic Knights is more of a nickname, but the order of
was that the Livonian Brotherhood?
That was a later one.
That's later. Okay.
That was another one of the Northern Crusader orders. That was an order that was sent in to, I believe I think there was a branch eventually of the Teutonic Knights that was called the Livonian Brotherhood. But there was another order called the Sword Brothers. Maybe they were earlier, and they were the ones that got dissolved because of corruption, and the Teutonic Knights in, and they finished off the Prussian Crusade thing.
When are we going to do a Livonian Sword Brother in the Snow Crusade show, Joe? When's that happening?
I do want to do that. That would be amazing. That would be an awesome thing to do. Like if we could, do a Baltic Crusade series.
See, that'd be cool. That'd be
so good. There's a lot of cool dynamics to do with the snow as well. Like having actually fought a non-choreographed battle in the snow, it's a great time, even though people are like, that's really cool, but it's not
everything
started. Yeah. It's interesting.
And Dead Extra, which we definitely don't want to be saying that on this show, said, Order of Brothers of the German House of St. Mary in Jerusalem. Yes, thank you, sir. That is the actual name.
All right.
Knights. So
Rock on. Bonus points to you.
All right. So, wow. Once again, time is flying by with this stream. Any other questions you guys have? I would love to take a look at them and throw them at our awesome reenactors/actors who are here with us today. Spencer, Mike, and Kyle, who helped us on the trailer for Knights of the Cross, which is currently being edited by our editor, Eric, who was also doing sound and, he was doing sound for the filming of the trailer. He's doing the film editing for the trailer and such part of the team. So
he was a guru. He did work so much, come back, and at the end of the night, he'd be up to like 3, maybe like 2 o'clock in the morning, just editing. And I'd go get a glass of water in the kitchen. And he's still up. I'm like, you gotta go to sleep, bud. We gotta get up at like 3 hours. He's like, I'll be fine. It's great.
Yeah, he was so humble and quiet, and he's like the hardest working guy there. Like he just never stopped.
Yeah, Eric was a workhorse, but it was just amazing. That was one thing that was really cool about the trailer when we were filming it is everybody coming together and the passion, the fire, bringing the fire and just working on this thing. There was just so much commitment and enthusiasm everywhere from, our camera guys to our actors, our stunt team. I mean, it was just, Angelo directing. I mean, it was very cool. So
everybody. This
is from Mark. Go guys, make it happen. Thank you, Mark. We appreciate that, brother.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Mark's a good friend of the channel. And somebody was saying some negative stuff about Kingdom of Heaven up here.
I don't know if I liked it as a movie. I thought as a movie it was great.
Yeah, especially the director's cut.
Yeah, the director's cut is the only cut. There wasn't a different cut. It's only the director's cut.
Well, I was just gonna say, here's the thing. Even just the trailer we filmed, the costumes we had, the weapons, the gear, it was the quality of anything like Kingdom of Heaven, any high level film. It was. I mean, it simply was. We had the realistic weapons. We had fully metal gear, metal chainmail. I mean, that's the fact of it. We are working with materials and bringing a quality to even just this trailer, which we didn't have a huge budget for. So I'm just very proud of that. I just want to say that we didn't have anywhere near the budget of something like Kingdom of Heaven, but we really brought the attention to detail, and a lot of that was because of you guys and your excellent work. So good job, guys.
Thank you. Well, it's like you said, there's a lot of passion behind this project. A lot. I mean, it's a period of time that we all love. It's going to be It's going to be amazing. I think, because we are. I mean, even the footwear that we're wearing is period accurate for the time.
Yeah, I had like flip flops sewn into chainmail is what it felt like I was in all day, but it was the historical way to have the shoes.
It's it's a piece of leather sewn to the bottom of a chainmail booty. But it's period footwear. And
how was that in the desert though? Was that great? Did it feel good?
It was
it got in my toes. It was like a sifter. Like they would go through the chainmail into my like under socks, and then when I would step out of the sand, it would like kick out like 5 feet of sand. It was a little silly.
Yeah, the shoes were the weirdest part about the armor. That was a weird, because I was not expecting that. Like, you're like, okay, here I'm putting all this stuff on. You put the shoes on, it's like, wait a minute, what is this? It feels like a booty or something.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Not arch support and all these other things that you have and these first world comforts. No, it's interesting.
I got to imagine if it was tailored specifically for you, it would have fit a little bit better. But I could, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I should show the picture of me as a.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Your Stan Lee appearance, man. It was good.
Yeah,
perfect. Now the one thing is, when this was taken, somebody was going off to get me a male coif.
And this is before you got that coif on, right?
Before that coif was on, so it doesn't look right. But
which one do we have the?
What the heck?
Let me see.
So this is me as an extra in the background.
Yep. So that's cool. Me in the background of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Inception.
I remember I was saying, somebody get me a male coif. Look right. But somebody snapped the photo while a male coif was being brought over. So very cool.
That's so cool.
Let's see. All right. Guys, so many good questions. I don't know which one to hit first here. So we got Falafas here says, what's the estimated length of this trailer? What do you guys think?
I think what I heard was somewhere between 9 and 12 minutes.
I think it'll be way shorter than that. I think it'll be more like 4 to 5.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a relatively short thing, but it's going to depend. They might be like, oh, well, we want to cut this short or whatever. It just feels like longer for us because it took us several days.
Yeah.
What, 4 days of shooting from before the sun came up to after the sun went down?
Yep.
Yes, it was like nonstop work for 4 days. And what's funny is, remember, we had 1 day set aside for additional stuff, like if we needed to get something extra.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I wonder, how much we'll be doing that day. We were working.
It was packed. We actually had to cut a lot of scenes down. There was a lot of fight scenes that we cut out. There was just dialogue was trimmed in some spots. We had a little bit more on paper than what we actually were able to film, just with the constraints of time and budget.
Yeah. So thanks for the super chat, Daniel. Do you guys need any help in the post-production sphere? We do. Yeah. If that's something that you are good at, please contact me. We are still adding to the team, especially in areas like post-production, because our current post-production team is pretty limited. It's Eric and Brother Didicus and Angelo, and basically the camera and director aspect of the team is doing the post-production right now. So yeah, give us a shout, Daniel. You can email me, realcrusadeshistory@gmail.com. That's a good way to get in contact. And Total War Legendary says, can't wait to see the trailer. Glad to hear that.
Me too.
Let's see here. There's a lot of good questions up here. But actually, before I get to that, I'm just going to look at, I have this whole list of questions that I made for last time that we didn't get to. One of them I wanted to ask all three of you. How do you guys feel about becoming action figures when this whole thing is over?
I'm gonna let Spencer jump to that one.
I think it sounds amazing. There's little things as young boys, especially for us, the part having your action figures and pretending to be this way. I think that's awesome. So yes,
all right,
very cool. Mike,
I'm 100% down for it. I think the coolest, the closest I've ever gotten to anything like that. I do stunt shows at a local Renaissance fair occasionally, and one year a kid had come up with a picture of me and asked me to sign it.
oh, that's so cool.
And that was the coolest thing. Coolest ever, but an action figure would be incredible.
That, and we have a friend, Ray Rowe, who is a professional WWE wrestler. This is a Viking. He's Viking War Raiders, and they're a tag team wrestling team. They just got their action figures out like maybe a month ago, and I totally sent out for them to get them so I can be like, oh, I got an action figure right now. I can have his action figures fight my action figure. That'd be cool. Dreams.
Right. So like Saracen number 1 could fight against
Viking
or whoever it is.
Whoever, yeah. As long as they have like Saracen grip instead of Kung Fu grip or something. I don't know.
Yeah. There we go. Another cool question that just came up. This is from our good buddy Declan. Or no, from Mark, I'm sorry. Are there already a lot of marketing ideas in the pipeline for trailer release, spreading the word, reaching the target group, and getting better reach in general? The answer to that is yes. We are going to do a YouTube ad campaign. We're going to do Facebook ad campaigns. We're doing podcasts and stream appearances on a lot of different platforms. So, yeah, this is something we are very focused on. We've got a pretty significant chunk of change set aside for YouTube ads. So this is definitely something we're thinking about. We understand how important this is going to be to have, as you're saying here, Mark, hype.
Yes, get hype. Am I right in? Did I remember there might be a watch party or something for when the trailer does drop?
Yes. On this channel, my plan is for us to do a countdown to the actual premiere. So we're going to have like a premiere page. That's a cool thing with YouTube. You can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have a premiere page up for however long before we actually release it. And then we will all, hopefully what I want to do is get like the whole stunt team. We can have up to 10 people. So as many as we can crowded on to a stream, and we'll, count down together.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
I am down.
Right. So let's see. I guess we're really coming up to where we've just got a couple minutes left. Any last questions you guys might have? And let me just turn to the guests too and say any final things you guys are wanting to get out there in terms of comments or thoughts on where we are in the process of all this.
Really, I'd say for everybody, let us know what you want to see rolling up to this. I mean, we can't change what already has been put in place for this trailer/short film, but if there's any other content you want to see, if you want to see some destructive capabilities of weapons, you want to see some cutting of fruit, let us know what you guys want, and try to get it there. That's
definitely something me and Spencer can start putting together. It's just, you want to see us cut stuff with weapons, you want to see some of the different tools or some of the props, we can showcase all of that. We've all got a lot of extensive experience with that stuff. So that's something, if you guys are interested in, we can bring to you.
Very cool. All right. I
don't have a trebuchet.
Sorry.
We know some people actually, we wouldn't be able to get it for the trailer, but give us Pennsic stuff. Yeah, we could make that happen.
Yeah, give us some time because we know people.
Yeah, we could find one. We just don't have it.
Prosthetics for injuries or lepersy. Sorry to spam this.
I saw that. Yeah.
Again, I think that's going to be a budgetary question because prosthetics cost money. But we had a really great makeup artist on set for the trailer, and we were able to do a lot of cool stuff just with what she had brought.
Sam was awesome.
Yeah. arrow sticking out of my back at one point. It was just great.
Yeah, we did have we had some blood and guts for the trailer, and yeah, Sam did a great job. Let me see if I can find a picture of Sam to share with everybody. She was a huge presence on the set. She really helped out a lot.
And as the answer when people are asking about rated R and otherwise, I'm not sure, Joe, what the rating would be, but there is some blood. We were going to do some blood on the swords, but of course, we had time crunch, so we couldn't make it happen all the time.
Well, and the thing too to remember is there's going to be blood added. We had some blood, obviously, with our makeup artist, but there's also going to be blood added in post-production. Eric was telling me about that. So there will be even more blood than we had with Sam. So this is Sam and me standing there with my hospitaler t-shirt.
Yeah.
In the baking California sun there.
This is great.
I'm still sunburned, you guys. It just hasn't gone away yet.
We Midwesterners aren't used to that.
The backs of my hands just stopped peeling, I think, yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Yeah. It was wonderful though. I loved it out there. I mean, it was a lot of hard work. And, I remember going to bed every night just beat, but loving every single second of it. And
I'm ready to do more.
Yeah, I want to do more.
Yeah.
I want to do more for sure.
Definitely. Cool. Well, I think we are reaching the end of today's stream. Just as kind of a final word here, I want to point everybody to our crowdfunding page over here at christianchannel.com/Knights of the Cross. I've got it up here on the screen share. This page will show you guys everything we're doing right now. We do need your help to make this show happen. This page is where you can help us make it happen. There are contribution tiers everywhere from $35 to I think like $10,000 or something like that. Some stuff about some of our crew: Bug Hall, who was playing Richard Lionheart, Angelo Labooty, our director. So a lot of good information here. Here's Angelo with all of his accolades: Marvel, Disney. So yeah. So I'll point everybody over to christianchannel.com/Knights of the Cross. It's linked down below this stream as well, so you guys can check it out there. And just as a final word here, I'm just going to say thanks to these three awesome guys you guys are so awesome to work with on the trailer. I'm really looking forward to working with you guys on the show. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, thanks so much, guys. You guys are amazing.
Dude, thanks for having us,
you.
Joe.
Hey, thank you very much for having me, Joe.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, and looking forward to future endeavors. So,
Absolutely. All right, and thanks so much to everybody who joined us for the stream. Our plan is to keep doing these every week up until the release of the trailer. So we'll be doing this next week. The plan was to do them every Tuesday, but we do have a crew member who, as I've heard, may need to do Monday. So we will see how that goes for next week. We'll talk with you guys about that, and we'll announce our plans for next week's stream ahead of time, so you guys know whether to tune in for Monday or Tuesday. So there you go. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Bye.